So we got a bunch of new classes revealed for D&D. Rogue, Wizard, Warlock, and Druid at time of recording, but are they any good? So the new PHP Rogues are an interesting case, with Treant Monk saying they might be the weakest class in the game now. But is that true? Firstly, Rogues get access to Weapon Mastery now, and they definitely benefit from it. But the real change is at level 5 with Cunning Strikes. This lets you swap out some of your sneak attack damage for different effects, like poisoning an enemy or tripping them up, etc. The iconic Reliable Talent feature has been moved forward from level 11 to level 7, and all rogues get the level 3 feature Steady Aim now, which was introduced in Tasha's. Slippery Mind at level 15 now gives proficiency in Wisdom and Charisma saves, which is fine. It's no monk, but it's fine. And rogues lost the blind sense ability, which is good because it was stupidly written and caused a bunch of arguments about advantage versus disadvantage versus invisible enemies. This could have been reworked to give rogues 10 feet of blind sight at this level, would have been fine, but whatever, I don't mind. Finally, at level 20, you get Stroke of Luck. Anytime you miss an attack roll or fail a saving throw or ability check, you can change the result on the die to a 20. Yes, that means you can turn a missed attack roll into a critical hit. Nice. The problem with the rogue is that the core sneak attack damage has not been improved. The scale is exactly the same, and you have to reduce the damage you deal to access your other rogue features. And there's always the chance an enemy passes the saving throw against your Cunning Strike, which means you're trading off damage for nothing. Rogues really need that damage to stay competitive with other martial classes, so trading damage for a chance to maybe do something is a bit iffy. Don't get me wrong, this is a stronger rogue than the 2014 version, but it is a contender for the weakest core class that we've seen so far. Of course, we'll do a real deep dive when we get access to the actual text, as well as reviewing all the subclasses, but for now, it's kind of mid. Warlock is my favorite class in D&D, and I hated the Unearthed Arcana that tried to turn Warlocks into another half-caster, like a Paladin or a Ranger. They are not doing that, thankfully. First change, Warlocks get Eldritch Invocations at level 1 now, not level 2. That's really good for anyone multi-classing into Warlock. With just one level, you can grab Devil's Sight or advantage on all your concentration checks, etc. More importantly though, this means you get your Pact Boons at level 1 now, because they've been changed to become Eldritch Invocations. Pact of the Chain, Pact of the Blade, Pact of the Tome used to be at level 3, used to be their own feature, not anymore. Another change to Invocations is that bonuses to Eldritch Blast, like Agonizing Blast, now work for any Warlock cantrip. So you can build your own war crime with Firebolt or Shocking Grasp or any cantrip you like. Most people will still use Eldritch Blast, it is the best one, but it's nice to have options. At level 2, Warlocks get Magical Cunning, letting you regain half your packed magic spell slots when you finish a 1-minute meditation once per long rest. This is actually a rework of the classic level 20 Warlock feature, which goes to show just how terrible that actually was. In practice, it means at least one more spell slot a day for Warlocks, which is nice if you can't squeeze in a short rest. Subclasses come in at level 3 now. Some people hate this for the Warlock as a massive flavor fail, but I don't really mind it. The way I see it, you can choose your patron at level 1 to gain power, but you only get notable enough to actually receive subclass boons when you reach level 3. Finally, Warlocks get a feature that lets you chat with your patron directly, and like pretty much every caster, they've had an expanded spell list. If you stand back, it doesn't look like the Warlocks really changed all that much. Some tweaked invocations, your packed boon and patron have swapped levels, and one new core roleplay feature. That's basically it. I like the 2014 Warlock, so I'm fine with it being mostly the same, but I do understand if you wanted significant, meaningful change to classes, the Warlock is not going to give it to you. Of course, the subclasses have changed, but we will rank every subclass when we can do a thorough deep dive on the actual book. For now, we've got to talk about the most radically changed class in the game, Druids.
Hello, humans! Hey, bro, look! It's the god of cows. I am a god, and I'm here to tell you to stop being lame. What? Stop it. Bad humanity. Bad. You've got to stop doing wars. Also, no more Nickelback. Can I still sleep with my best friend's wife? What? No. Can I still attack strangers online for enjoying different TTRPGs to the one that I play? No, that's bollocks. You don't only have to play one TTRPG, you can expand your horizons, like maybe trying DC-20. Are you claiming that the DC-20 TTRPG is endorsed by God? By the cow god, who is me? Yes. You should really move your butts and check this out!
DC20 is the new TTRPG sensation that has already amassed over $1.7 million on Kickstarter. Heralded as the community-created D&D 6th edition with rules that are innovative and intuitive while still being accessible. It uses a dynamic action points system that keeps combat reactive, engaging, and fast-paced for every player at the table, and cuts back on a lot of the bloat from legacy TTRPGs, which makes it perfect for introducing new friends to the hobby. DC20 has only 3 days left on Kickstarter. This is the last chance to pick up all the Kickstarter exclusives, including the free Monster Starter Pack, free PDF with a hardcover, and instant beta access when the Kickstarter ends. Check out DC20 today by clicking on the link below to explore a new, incredible system that retains that core, epic fantasy feeling. That's DC20 on Kickstarter, link below. So Druids get a bunch of new stuff and some changes to the old stuff. First off, at level 1 you now make a choice between 2 abilities, Primal Order and Magician. Primal Order grabs you Martial Weapon and Medium Armor proficiency, which Druids no longer get as a base, and Magician gives you an extra cantrip and a boost to Arcana and Nature checks. I don't really think this is a buff. Primal Order is giving you Medium Armor proficiency, which all Druids used to have for free, and the Martial Weapon proficiency doesn't really matter. I mean, Druids mostly used Shillelagh and attacked with their wisdom anyway. That's going to outperform pretty much every martial weapon. The only way this is better than the core Druid is if you specifically wanted to attack with a ranged weapon. That said, it's still probably better than Magician because getting access to that medium armor proficiency is really good on a Druid. But you do get a free casting of Speak with Animals from level 1 now and an expanded spell list, which is nice. The big change is level 2. Wild Shape is very different now. Let's run down these changes. 1. All Druids can Wild Shape as a bonus action now. 2. You start with 2 uses per long rest and climb to 4 uses by level 17. 3. You get 1 use of Wild Shape back on a long rest and all uses back on a short rest. 4. All Druids can talk while wild-shaped. 5. When you transform, you no longer take on the base hit points of the form you assume. Instead, you just gain temporary hit points equal to your Druid level. 6. You drop out of your wild shape only when you are incapacitated or die, or a number of hours pass equal to half your Druid level. 7. You can give up 1 use of your wild shape to cast the spell Find Familiar, or regain 1 first level spell slot once a day. 8. You can burn a spell slot of any level to regain a use of your wild shape as many times as you like. Okay, so is it good? Well, these changes massively benefit utility wild shapes, like spiders and bats, because you no longer fall out of those transformations upon taking a single point of damage. Weaker transformations are now much tankier. The downside is you no longer get to massively pad your hit points with tanky transformations, like the brown bear, although that is more of a Moon Druid problem. Moon Druids do get extra temporary hit points when they transform, but it's still way less of a boost to their tankiness than they had before. All in, I'd say this is a reasonable balance patch that lowers the ceiling and raises the floor on Wild Shape. It does this by stepping on the Moon Druid's toes a little, but I think I would rather that every Druid got more out of Wild Shape than just one subclass, personally. At level 7, Druids now get the Elemental Fury feature. Like at level 1, there are 2 options to choose from. Potent spellcasting boosts the power of your cantrips. It's the same as the Cleric feature we all know. Primal Strike lets you deal more damage on weapon attacks or when you hit a creature while wild-shaped. The feature then gets upgraded at level 11 with improved Elemental Fury. Potent spellcasting now increases the range of your Druid cantrips by 300 feet, which is nice. And Primal Strike increases the damage on your hits to 2d8. At level 18, you gain the ability to cast spells while wild-shaped as long as they don't consume a material component. And finally, at level 20, you get the Archdruid feature, which lets you regain a use of Wild Shape if you ever roll initiative without one. You also get an improved ability to trade out your Wild Shape for more spell slots, which, at least according to the playtest version, worked out at 2 spell slot levels per 1 Wild Shape expended. That means you could burn all 4 uses to get an additional 8th level spell, which is pretty good if you don't care about Wild Shape and want an extra shot at casting Feeble Mind. Importantly, you no longer get infinite Wild Shape. shapes, so you can no longer spam wild shape for constant regeneration. That is a lot of changes to the Druid, and mostly they seem pretty decent. The core Druid class is actually shockingly empty, like you don't get any core Druid features between level 2 and level 18 in the 2014 version. We'll need to check out how advantageous the new wild shape actually is in practice, but for sure, Druids and Warlocks are going to win the award for most improved upon their original Unearthed Arcana versions, because those sucked. Okay, let's talk about the Wizard. Like a few other classes, Wizards have picked up the optional features included in Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. You can now swap out one of your cantrips anytime you finish a long rest. It's okay. At second level, Wizards get a new feature called Scholar, giving you expertise in Arcana, Nature, Religion, or History. Yep, even Wizards get expertise now. They are throwing this on the new classes. At level 5, you get the Memorize Spell feature, letting you swap out one of your prepared spells that day for a different spell from your Wizard's spell list. Yes, it's boring, but it is a technical buff. In the playtest, it was kind of useful because it only took a minute, but now you can only do it when you finish a short rest, so it is very mid. Spell Mastery at level 18 got an interesting nerf. Now, the spell you choose to be able to cast for free has to have a casting time of 1 action. That means no more free counter spells or shields. This feels overbearing, in my opinion, adding complexity to a feature just to dictate how they feel people should play. If you're a level 18 wizard, I think it's fine to be able to counterspell something once per round, and the new counterspell has been significantly weakened anyway. Is this about Silvery Barbs? Did they just change this feature specifically because of Silvery Barbs? If so, that is very silly, but hilarious. And that's it for the core wizard. Like with the Warlock, if you were hoping this book would bring significant change to the core class, you're not gonna find it here. That said, wizards were already pretty powerful, it's not like they're terrible now, and we'll rank the subclasses when we have all the information. All in, these changes seem okay. A definite improvement on their original incarnations in the Unearthed Arcana. But only the Druid and the Rogue feel transformatively different from their base version, and when it comes to the Rogue, it's pretty much the Cunning Strikes feature that makes them different, and you could easily just take that feature and backport it into 5e if you like it. Remember, these discussions are based only on what WotC are choosing to share, and these videos they are putting out are adverts for a product. We don't have the full story. I don't recommend pre-ordering this book until you have all the information and you can make an informed decision on what value you will find. A lot of this stuff is free on D&D Beyond, and a lot of it will be entering the Creative Commons, which is free for everyone to access. You are not going to miss out. There is no time limit. There is no reason to rush. Wait for the reviews and the full text of the book to drop so you can make an informed decision with your money. But if all this D&D talk left you hungry for subclasses you can play right now, swing on by the D&D Shorts Patreon for new subclasses, races, adventures, feats, and tons more that I release every month. That support makes this channel possible. Thank you to everyone on there for making my dream to make content creation as a living possible. I also run games on there and release occasional bonus videos too. The link is in the description. Thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe, check out other videos on the channel, and yeah, that's all I got. I'll see you next time.